Hi, everyone. We're the Good Doctors of Abbey Research. I'm Dr. Donnelly.
And I'm Dr. Hinson.
And we're here with Season 1, Episode 8 recap of The Crown, entitled Pride and Joy.
Yes, which we learn eventually is what the king referred to as Elizabeth and Margaret. Elizabeth was his pride and Margaret was his joy, which, like...
I don't understand what that means.
I guess she wasn't, like, heinous when she was a kid. I don't know.
No, she probably still was, but, like,
not to her
have always
father.
seen them as little girls. I don't know.
Not to her father. I don't know. They had a very special relationship.
Sure they did.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, anyone who hasn't been here before, Margaret drives us nuts. So if you're here for a pro-Margaret take, you just need to move on. The summary of this episode is that the Queen's life is really hard. Margaret doesn't seem to understand that. She gets sassy about it. And the Queen mom is trying to be a widow and doesn't really know how.
And doesn't get to be a widow because Margaret keeps effing things up. Yeah, so Elizabeth and Philip head out on a Commonwealth tour in order to, quote unquote, keep each dominion close. And during this period, the Queen Mother suggests that Elizabeth deputize her sister Margaret to take over a lot of her, opening of things and giving speeches at events. I don't really know what the Queen does, but, giving OBEs to people. Yeah, waving at things. So she's like, let Margaret do it. Margaret needs to shine. She's really upset about Peter,
River, but yes, yeah.
Give her some duties. And Elizabeth's like, yeah, sure, fine, Mom. I'll do it. Great.
Yep.
And then Mom tells Elizabeth, Queen Mother tells Elizabeth, never let them see the real Elizabeth Windsor. Never let them see that carrying the crown is often a burden to you, but let them see only the eternal, which is, I'm sorry, the most ridiculous expectation you could place on a human being.
Also, especially on this Elizabeth, whose husband is a living crap stain right now. So, like, who, at this point in history, we don't know if he still is. I mean, at this point, he's just a dotty old racist with liver disease, but he could be a totally lovely person too. We don't know. We don't have a relationship with Philip. But at this point in their marriage, at least as defined by this show that wrote that line, that man does not love her in the way that she needs to be loved. He is not supportive of her. He doesn't care who the real Elizabeth is. He only wants the imagined version of his wife in his mind. So who the hell is she the real person with, Mom? Like,
I know. Yeah, it's a fascinating kind of, and we've been seeing this throughout the whole season, right? One of the themes is this constant balance between Elizabeth Windsor and Elizabeth Regina. And so this was just this episode's way of reminding us that she is constantly in a battle with herself. And the episode was also a lot about the differences between Elizabeth and Margaret, their personalities, their jealousies of each other. So Elizabeth is jealous that Margaret is charming and personable and better with crowds. And Margaret is, I guess, jealous that her sister gets all of this attention, even though she knows her sister hates it. And it's a job, not like fun times with the royals. But Margaret doesn't seem to understand that. So that's pretty much, what happens. The Queen Mother goes to Scotland to some very lovely scenery of a castle on the hill, which just made me sing the Ed Sheeran song.
Mm-hmm. Scotland's gorgeous. I mean, except for inner city Glasgow. Everywhere else is beautiful.
The Queen is so stressed out from the Commonwealth tour, she just starts getting a muscle twitch. And Philip wants her to, stop being the Queen, which wasn't super helpful. He was like, well, you have to cancel the tour and you have to stop this because it's affecting your health. And she was like, I can't ever stop being the Queen, but thank you for your help. And then Margaret's being deputized totally backfires, and she behaves completely inappropriately at an event.
Knocked me with a feather. I was so surprised.
Yes. And has to bring the Queen Mother back from Scotland to take over the deputizing because Margaret screwed things up so much. And everyone is criticizing Elizabeth all the time, and she says one of the great lines, which I feel like Kristen and I almost wrote it for her. We've been saying it so much this season. She says, I'm aware that I am surrounded by people who feel they could do the job better. So she's starting to get pushed back a little bit towards the end of the season and really find her own voice and be like, you know what? I'm fully aware of all of your criticisms of me, but you can do one because I'm still the queen.
Yeah.
But the Commonwealth tour is an amazing success. Hooray! And then yay, colonialism. She has to bring Margaret in at the end to kind of reprimand her for this. And she's got some interesting, she says, the monarchy should shine, not the monarch. You showed individuality and you made people panic. And
this is an interesting question because I don't really have a feeling that she made anybody panic outside of the royal family.
The news as well, like the news coverage of it, because it was so like untraditional. But I mean, traditions can change. Yeah.
This is very interesting. I feel like this is a great example of the disconnect that exists between the ideation of the monarchy at this point in British history and the reality of the monarchy, which is going to come back to bite Elizabeth in the ass when her son marries Diana.
Yes.
So,
And I think you see, I mean, we're not, royal scholars by any stretch, but almost everyone says that what happened and how the queen reacted to Diana's death changed the course of the monarchy and how she behaved in public and how she expected other royals to behave in public. But this was certainly well before that. And she's still getting all of this influence from the old guard as well. So all of her advisors are these stodgy old white dudes that are like, no.
God forbid. It's already troubling that the queen has a vagina.
Right.
But like, let's not pretend that she's a human.
Oh, we can't. So that dynamic keeps pushing back and forth. And it was a fascinating scene between the two of them, entertainment-wise.
Yeah.
Dr. Donnelly and I still don't really care for Margaret. Update, newsflash.
Spoiler, she stresses us out.
We don't really care.
I want to circle back to Philip real quick.
Okay.
And that statement, because I think in a leadership sense, that is a demonstration of love that a lot of women in power get that is not helpful at all.
When he tells her that she needs to stop.
Yeah, she just needs to stop. But your health is at risk. Cool. She knew her health was at risk. By the way, popping out your children also put her health at risk, which you didn't have a problem with, as far as we know. Her life puts her health at risk. That doesn't seem to stress you out. Your constant absences put her health at risk because she is stressed, lonely, scared, and has no one to unburden herself to.
Isolated, yeah, but you still need to have your Thursday lunch club.
Yeah. So I am a person that has a lot of moving pieces in my life. And I struggle when I am explaining this to a friend and their response is something like, well, just quit one of your jobs. Thank you. I hadn't thought of that. Thank you for that incredibly unhelpful.
Eureka. No one.
Oh my God. It hadn't occurred to me.
Well,
you just need to draw some more boundaries. Thank you, Professor Freud. Like, those are not loving things. Those are not helpful things. Those are just entitled statements of not understanding. And so what Philip should have done, and I understand we're talking about, like, let's set aside constructions of masculinity and femininity in their marriage for a hot second. Let's just say that Elizabeth was a CEO of a multinational and was dealing with a crisis, and her husband's trying to help her deal with it, and she is overwhelmed and overworked, and they're giving her Botox injections in her cheeks, like, because she's got to handle it.
Yeah.
What Philip should have done is come in and look at her and say, I am so sorry. What do you need?
Yeah.
What do you need? Give her the agency back, because the world has taken her agency from her. Not just Elizabeth, but anybody who's juggling balls. The world has taken your agency from you. All you are doing is a performing circus monkey most days. And if you can actually control your own schedule in your life, it's a victory if you're someone like Elizabeth in this kind of situation, where so many other people have a voice in your life. And if you are in charge of a lot of people, if you are a boss of a lot of people, if you're an entrepreneur whose like ideas are why your people are employed, it's a very parallel situation. And we all need to have those people in our lives that just look at us and go, I'm sorry, that's crap. How do I help?
Yes. So
but what we all do have frequently is people like Philip.
Like Philip would just say, just stop. Yeah.
Just stop. Or, oh, I'm really concerned for you. Great. You weren't concerned 6 months ago when you started being the part of the problem?
So for those of you that don't think you can take any lessons from the monarchy or British history, we're here to tell you differently.
Mm-hmm.
You can always draw parallels and learn from people's behaviors and relationships and how it impacts their job, because this is her job.
Yeah, she is the job. And she is his job. And he is terrible at it.
Hopefully he gets better. Because right now, that whole conversation he had at the beginning of the season with her father on the Wolverton splash, in one ear, out the other.
Out the other.
Complete nonsense. That boy is not doing his job at all.
No.
He is whinging.
Yeah, a lot. And I get, like, I mean, this is another really fascinating conversation about men whose wives are more powerful than them and, like, the evolution of that issue. And we'll probably touch on that, especially, spoiler, in season 2, this continues to be an issue. So
what?
Yeah, spoiler. So we'll continue to talk about it. But it's something that's really fascinating to me when Dr. Hinson and I spend time with other women who run companies and things like that. It is a frequent conversation still of, like, what are your family dynamics? Or if they have a same-sex partner, what does your wife think about you making more money? Like, how do we navigate responsibilities when they are frequently so unequal? What does that look like? And Philip is a great cautionary tale.
It's a fascinating conversation. One that I am sure we will continue to have throughout this show and perhaps any other show in which women are employed.
Very true. So summary of this episode. Margaret is still pitching fits over things she has no right to pitch fits over.
Yeah, stressing us out.
Elizabeth is finding her spine. And the queen mom, it deserves to be a widow.
It's just tired. She identifies as tired.
She identifies as tired, and woman gets to.
Yeah, she's had a lot.
Yeah.
She gets to be tired.
So I have a feeling she's going to continue to be tired.
Yeah. Especially with Margaret.
With Margaret. And as we go through the remaining 2 episodes, I hope we get some more glimpses into Elizabeth's spine.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So for that, I'm Dr. Donnelly.
And I'm Dr. Hinson.
We're the Good Doctors of Abbey Research, and we'll see you next episode.
Bye.